Tonight, State Route 12 in Garfield County is back open after a deadly tour bus crashed today. 4 people died when the vehicle went off the road and rolled onto a guardrail at about 11:30 this morning.
We have team coverage of the crash and investigation tonight. Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher spoke with witnesses.
But we begin with Fox 13's Hailey Higgins, who just got an update from the Garfield County Sheriff. Hailey.
Yeah, I'm here at Garfield Memorial Hospital where the majority of the survivors were taken. 19 of them were brought here today. Now, I've just learned 11 have been transferred to other hospitals. 1 person was admitted tonight and 7 have been well enough to be discharged. Medical helicopters flying well into the evening hours, transferring about a dozen survivors to hospitals across southern Utah.
Yes, it was a horrendous accident. I mean, it was horrendous.
Garfield County Sheriff Danny Perkins says most of the people injured were in the back of the bus when the driver lost control and the bus rolled over the guardrail.
I personally didn't see anybody that didn't have some type of an injury.
The bus was heading to Bryce Canyon. Everyone inside, Chinese nationals, including the driver. Sheriff Perkins says he suffered bumps and bruises and is being questioned by investigators.
I don't know why he done that.
The major crash in rural Utah was complicated by a language barrier. Mike Sorrells learned Mandarin Chinese on his Latter-day Saint mission to Taiwan in the 1980s.
And I was in the ER going between the different beds, helping the doctors understand where it hurt, what was wrong.
For hours, the volunteer firefighter from Panguitch was the only translator for the injured Chinese tourists.
So I'm just really glad to be able to help. I'm glad I've been trained to help people, and I'm glad I had a little extra language skill today to help people that couldn't speak our language.
And tonight, I'm told the Department of Safety has possession of the bus. They're going to try to figure out what happened. Now, talking with Sheriff Perkins, he says this stretch of road is safe. He rarely has crashes here, so he's not exactly sure what caused this bus to crash and hurt and kill so many people. Reporting live in Panguitch, Hailey Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Hailey, thank you. The National Transportation Safety Board says it will be on scene of the accident by tomorrow. 10 members from the NTSB will be working with the Utah Highway Patrol, all to determine what may have led up to the crash.
Of the 30 people on the bus, Intermountain Healthcare tells us 22 patients were taken to their hospitals, 19 are at Garfield Memorial, and 3 at Sevier Valley Hospital. 11 of those patients were flown to other hospitals for further treatment. When the bus crashed this morning, witnesses came running to help, including a Good Samaritan who heard the crash. Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher spoke to him. She joins us from Highway 12 near the crash site. Lauren.
Yeah, Bob, I mean, as this man was recounting things to me, just absolutely horrific details. He was just right down the street, so he was pretty much the first one here. His first order of business, trying to see who even survived this crash.
It sounded like a war zone, big explosion. I saw the bus and I went, oh no.
Robert could see something happening from his deck. He rushed down the highway from his business and came upon this. People and belongings scattered across the highway.
I just went to the people who was worst. And then when, of course, the people that were still laying to the side of the bus, I think the bus rolled on them.
The first 3 people he checked on were dead. All women, Robert says. He found one of the husbands who didn't speak English. They couldn't talk to each other, so they just sat there and hugged.
He kept holding his wife's head and hugging her, and he was just looking for his glasses. And I just trying to hold him, and he was doing a prayer, and I tried to hold him.
Robert says he pulled someone off the bus and looked around at who else needed help.
I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, but that's my father." And his father was next to him, and he was hurt pretty bad.
He says everyone began to go into shock. Some stayed silent, others let out cries. It stunned everyone. It stunned Robert.
I was scared and emotional. So I just kind of pray for the ones that are alive and their families.
No matter the language, the prayer is the same.
I don't care what country you're from, you're all human beings. I don't think nobody in life should go through something like that.
Now, one thing Robert said gave him relief this afternoon is seeing how quickly those paramedics, those first responders arrived, how fast they got to work. What he saw out here, he said, no doubt saved some lives today. Live near Bryce Canyon, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Lauren, thank you so much for that. The Chinese embassy shared this tweet within hours of the tragedy, thanking first responders in Utah for their efforts. The embassy is sending staff to the area to help the victims.
The last time Utah saw a deadly bus crash of this scale was in Emery County on New Year's Eve back in 2017. At that time, in that crash, a 13-year-old girl died. 12 others were hurt when the Greyhound bus crashed. The bus was traveling from Denver to Las Vegas when it veered off of I-70 in Green River, and the driver suffered a medical emergency. 2 lawsuits have since been filed in connection to the deadly crash. They allege the driver was tired and sick and should have been replaced. Stay with Fox 13 News for continuing coverage of this deadly bus crash, both on air and always on fox13now.com.